Good afternoon, Lou Diamond Phillips.
How are you, Peter? Don't you look fabulous? What a great, loving the facial hair, loving the sweater, the jumper, as you might say.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's 5 a.m. I still had to make myself look presentable for you. So
Oh my God, where are you? Are you in London?
I'm in Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, Brisbane. Oh, so sorry. Other side of the globe. Yeah, right. Flat out like a lizard drinking, mate.
Well, I doing all my reading. I know that you was it King and I in the Melbourne production however many years ago. So you're aware of our country at least.
Oh, more than where I adore Australia. Yes, I did the King and I again at the Princess Theatre in Melbourne. Um, uh, did a couple of Wiggles videos there in Sydney. But I've been back and forth a few times. Uh, a couple of times doing press for films that I had coming out.
Mm.
And I went to one fan con there
Okay.
that hit both Sydney and Auckland, actually.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, so I absolutely love that part of the world, and we'll probably take any excuse I can to get back.
Well, we'll happily take you anytime that you come here, so feel free. Well, also before I get to at two, I'm also just going to quickly shout out and say that a performance of yours that I think is possibly underrated and is one of like the greatest, like I guess, comedic performances of all time is you as Cisco in The Big Hit. That
It's all about love, baby.
every line delivery in that movie is gold. And I was like, I saw that movie when I was like 14 and I've loved it ever since. So I just got to shout that out to you.
It's one of my favorites, man. As you can see, I sometimes gravitate toward the weird and over the top and fun, and that one was certainly fun. And the funny thing is, Kirk Wong and Terrence Chang, the producer, they came and saw me on Broadway in The King and I, and I think that's why they decided to hire me, because they thought, okay, here's a guy that can go big,
Yeah.
that has a presence that's larger than life. And I think ultimately that's what led, Max and his team to me for Brent and Et too.
No, I mean, yeah, it's an incredible performance. And obviously with this film, I'll say congratulations because I went into this knowing absolutely nothing, which is always the best way to watch a movie, I think. And this certainly went in directions I wasn't expecting. And I love that really, it really kind of knew what it was, exactly what it wanted to do and exactly what it wanted to say. And with your character, I mean, Brent is this, director sort of like forced to endure his own artistic failure in some sort of ways. Like it's like how did you tap into that intersection of, like there's ego, humiliation, paranoia almost like did it remind you of any moments in your career where like self-doubt crept in at all?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of, self. I mean, there was so much to pull from in this,
Hmm.
not only as a performer, but as a director myself, as a writer, as someone who's had relationships in the industry. I mean, the jealousy and comparing yourself to
Hmm.
someone else, and is someone doing better than I am? Is my moment past? There's, just all of this that resonates in Brent's fevered mind, all brought into sharp focus by, like you said, his I don't know, anger that the play is not quite, he's first of all he's doing Julius Caesar in regional theater when he probably has Broadway aspirations,
Yeah.
you know. And the really handsome young hunk who got the role through nepotism, who's probably stooping his wife, So I mean that jealousy, that sort of a fellow like anger kind of creeps in there, and it all feeds who this guy is. And while I have thankfully never worked with anybody quite as intense as Brent, there are people that I've worked with that are larger than life, that are intimidating, that have presence, and other characters. I mean, it's funny. I mean, some of the delivery and the articulation, the intelligence, just reminded me of like Jeff Goldblum or Christopher Walken, and and of course Jack and The Shining. I mean, here's a guy who's slowly losing his marbles, and so all of those, there were a lot of touchstones going into this that were so much fun.
It was like, and one of the great things is obviously like your relationship with the janitor. We'll just say it feels very
Yes.
very feels very Shakespearean, sinister, but like very funny. Like I guess how did you and Malcolm approach like building that like the really strange dynamic that you guys have?
Well, it's so funny, man, because this was such a low budget and a 15-day shoot, mind you.
Wow.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of rehearsal. I didn't get to meet Malcolm until we were on set together, and we had one rehearsal for that. The first scene that you see is the one on stage with us,
Yeah.
where he's the entrance mopping, and it's a 5-page scene, and Max was doing these really long takes and only one, two, maybe three at most, without a whole lot of coverage. So literally, what you're seeing there is nothing that was built; it just
Mm.
was. And I guess they had a sense of that. I mean, we got lucky because Malcolm and I had instant chemistry
Mm.
an instant affinity for one another. Um, uh, I've respected and admired that man's career for a long, long time,
Yeah.
and he was very gracious and very kind to me, and was aware of my work as well.
Mm.
So we had a very easy working relationship, and I think that's kind of what's kind of wonderful because it isn't labored. I mean, we're literally just batting it back and forth, and that rhythm, that interplay is it's really, really came about naturally,
Mm.
and that's one of the things that, doing your homework and knowing your lines and being present and being ready, and then all of a sudden that just happens. You just let it flow.
I mean, hearing about that, because I think, there's always kind of this assumption that you think, oh, regardless of the budget, like there's always going to be time for actors to meet or to rehearse beforehand. So hearing that sort of stuff, like, is there like looking at your body of work, like was there something that this film or this role as Brett, like it allowed you to do something as an actor that you hadn't done before at all?
But that's kind of an earmark of what I'm looking for these days,
Mm,
and I'm thrilled that I continue to find it, and that is something I haven't done, or something that's challenging.
mm,
Knowing that, this was a limited budget and that there would be a huge support system, and Brent wrote these long ass monologues. I mean, like the story I tell in the bathroom, that's two takes, one take camera pushing in,
yeah.
so it had to be perfect every time, and that's always fun. This like, all right, to take off your Hollywood glamour pants and put on your acting class head. And so that's always a real trait for me to get back and to do something that has some purity to it and is foundational. So,
Mm,
and the thing about Brent was, the coming up with his look, was very important. The glasses and the kind of Tim Burton-esque hair, and I have to say the wardrobe supervisor was right there with me and doing stuff that was just a touch flamboyant, just a little not, typical, and wanted him to be sort of instantly identifiable. It's like, oh, that guy thinks he's an artist, So everybody was on the same page
yeah.
developing this guy, and it was a joy. It was an absolute joy.
No, yeah, like he's like it's funny like you read sort of I guess like the log line about the film and you see the way that Brent is and it's almost like oh I feel like we sh almost like do we feel sorry for Brent? Do we want to be on Brent's side? And then when everything sort of starts to come together and it's almost like we should be less and less on Brent's side, we're almost like nah, I get it. He's really just trying to like make something work and everyone else is just getting in his way. Like I loved that the more the when it went on, like the scene where you're just like saying this person can no longer fulfill their role. This person, I was like, this
Yeah,
is fantastic. Like it was it
yeah.
was so funny. And like going off of this film and the challenges, like, is there something for you that like an artistic hill that you'd still really like to climb? Is there like a story, a collaborator, like a passion project that you're still trying to really make happen?
Oh, a few, quite a few. Um, uh, I'm coming out in a film, a series for HBO called The Chair Company, that'll be on this fall in October, with Tim Robinson, and that was an entirely different process, incredibly gratifying, but also very different in the respect that Tim and his partner Zach Kanan, they came from SNL. They
Mm,
rewrite constantly. They're trying new things. I mean, you can do a scene, a dozen different ways. And usually I'll leave, a film set going, okay, I know how that's going to cut. I know how it's this, I don't know. You have to be so fluid and so, kind of roll with it. And that's a wonderful, tightrope to walk as well. Um, uh, I have a couple of projects that I'm attached to as a director. I would like to be doing, larger films.
mm,
There's some independent things that I want to be doing. I still think that there are challenging roles, for me out there. Uh, a movie I have called Keep Quiet is opening up the Locarno Film Festival in Switzerland, and also playing Oldenburg in Germany. That's a Native American project.
mm.
Beautiful film. I've seen it. Very much like Training Day on the Res. With again a fantastic cast and wonderful director, writer director Vincent Grashaw, who is just gloves off kind of gritty, tough filmmaker. So yeah, I never try to project too much because it's like
Mm,
the things that have come down the pike, like Ed 2, are total surprises
mm.
and just little gems. And I go, great, let's do that, man. That sounds cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've obviously, as I said, talking about the big hit, but like looking at the films you're in, I was like, I've almost like grown up with Lou Diamond Phillips on my screen, like looking at the films you're in. So it's just awesome to see, you know, that you're still working and you're still choosing like really interesting things, and it just makes me, as someone who like loves film, it's like really exciting just to see what an actor chooses, and like when you see something like this that like yeah, like just an absolute total surprise. And it's one of those films that I'm like, God, I want more and more people to see something like this because it's not the same, recycled sort of thing.
That's
And it just, and
that,
it's,
that's what I love about it, and I
yeah.
and I so appreciate you helping us get out the word because when we made it, I didn't know where it was going to go. I
Mm,
thought, God, I hope it finds a home because it deserves it. But its uniqueness and its idiosyncrasies are exactly why the mainstream, media are like, oh, this is weird, man. But it'll find its following. I
yeah.
feel confident that it will.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure there's probably a few directors that watch it and just like go, "Oh, this probably hits a little bit too close to home with Brent." I think. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
no, well, I just thank you so much for taking the time out. I also just want to say, as a gay man, thank you for being part of the No Hate campaign as well. Like just having any voices added to that sort of thing is it was always an amazing thing. And as I said, like it's been, yeah, watching you's been awesome, and congratulations on the film. And yeah,
Forever an
I
ally.
can't wait to
Forever an
see
ally.
can't wait to see where Lou Diamond Phillips goes next.
Thank you so much. Well, I mean, and I did to put the cherry on top of things. I think we all have to be allies for one another. We all have to be advocates for one another. Our communities need to knit together.
Mm,
Being an actor of color who's represented so many different communities. We got to carry the torch for each
yeah.
other and have each other's backs because it's becoming a polarized world and it's not nice. It's not kind.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, we'll finish on a much kinder note, but I'll just say thank you so much, and congratulations again. And I'm looking forward to for everyone to see this film because it deserves to be massive scale because it's so much fun. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers.